Silver Dollar City is one of the premier destinations in the Ozarks. Featuring dozens of rides and attractions, this 1800s theme park has everything from heart-pounding roller coasters to rides enjoyable for the entire family. If you are planning a trip to Silver Dollar City, you might be wondering which rides are the best. Well, in this video, we will be counting down my pick of the top 10 rides at Silver Dollar City. Which rides will be number 1? Find out next. Hey everyone, this is Cullah Hale from Destination Thrills, bringing you another top 10 video, this time counting down the top 10 rides at one of my favorite parks, Silver Dollar City. Now, I've been visiting Silver Dollar City since about 2017, and I've been to the park over a dozen times. And for some reason, I haven't got around to doing a personal top 10 ranking of the rides. So after my visit a few weeks ago, I thought it would be a good time to finally debut this video. Now, there is no science behind these rankings. These are just my personal opinions. Now also keep in mind my perspective is of someone who enjoys really intense roller coasters over gentle family rides. So if you're looking for more kid-friendly attractions, you may have a different top 10. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into the rankings. Number 10, Flooded Mine. Flooded Mine is a classic dark ride in the park, themed after a flooded county jail mine. You are tasked with stopping the prisoners from escaping as you travel by boat through the mine, shooting at bullseyes set up throughout the route. In this ride, you compete against your family and friends to see who can hit the most bullseyes and rack up the highest score. I personally love highly interactive rides, and this classic shooting dark ride is really fun and relaxing at the same time. Now, not only is this a good break from the thrill rides in the park, but it's also a great ride to check out in the heat of summer, as the mine that you float through stays nice and cool. Overall, this is a wonderful ride, not just for kids, but for thrill seekers even like myself. All right, at number 9, we have Firefall. Firefall is a classic SNS shot tower. The ride starts out by shooting you out of the fire station 8 stories in the air before yanking you back down to the ground. You then immediately shoot back up through the roof of the fire station one last time before experiencing the final free fall and then slowing down as the ride shifts up and down a few times before coming to a stop. This ride gives you the stomach drop sensation that will scare the heck out of you. Now, I have been on several similar rides to Firefall at other parks, but what makes this so unique is that it starts out in the fire station, so you really don't see anything in your surroundings. This gives you a really cool sensation when you're being blasted out of the top of the station and into the sky, where you can see the surrounding Ozark Mountains. I would say this is a fairly intense ride and honestly would be ranked higher if it wasn't so short, but if you need a quick jolt of adrenaline, then be sure to check out Firefall. For our number 8 ride on this countdown, we are staying in the Fire District for Silver Dollar City's newest attraction, Fire in the Hole. Now, I say new loosely, as this ride is just a remodeled version of the old Fire in the Hole ride that has been in the park since 1972. The new Fire in the Hole incorporates the same concept of the original ride with upgrades to some of the props and a major overhaul of the coaster trains and track. Now, this isn't your typical roller coaster. This is actually a powered coaster that doesn't go very fast. In fact, many of you will feel like Fire in the Hole is more of a dark ride than an actual indoor coaster. Besides a few drops at the end that give you a slight thrill, there is nothing intense about this ride at all. This ride is more about theming and bringing a story to life. The storyline of the ride is done really well, and the different scenes you ride through are very well themed and wrap you into the story quickly. Fire in the Hole is another great family attraction and a perfect beginner coaster for new enthusiasts. At number 7, the Giant Barn Swing. Now, we are getting into some more thrilling rides on this list, and if you're not a fan of rocking boat style rides, then this ride is not going to be for you. The name Giant Barn Swing accurately describes this ride, as it is one gigantic swing that takes you 7 stories into the sky. As the ride reaches its peak height, you begin to feel weightlessness as you stare facing the ground below. Then, as you come crashing down at 45 miles per hour, you catapult up into the air facing the sky while returning to your weightless state. This continues back and forth several times before the ride finally ends. Now, I wouldn't consider Barn Swing intense, but I will say it gives you a bit of a scare if you are afraid of heights. For me, Barn Swing is a really enjoyable experience, and it is easily the best flat ride in the park. Number 6, Thunderation. This mine train coaster is a must ride when visiting Silver Dollar City. This ride is super unique as it starts out immediately out of the station with no launch and no lift hill. Instead, because of the height of the station and the steep terrain surrounding it, you are able to go down a drop winding your way through the trees and tunnels, eventually reaching an exhilarating speed. After you get to the bottom, you then experience a lift hill halfway through the ride. This takes you up to a bigger drop with more twists and turns before going back to the station. Now this coaster has some thrill to it, but it's not something that is too scary. I would expect most kids will be able to handle this ride, and even some adults who might be too afraid to check out some of the bigger coasters. The only thing I will warn you about is that this coaster is older, and so it does have some rough spots throughout the ride, but besides that, I think this is a great family coaster, and it is something you must ride when you go to Silver Dollar City. Number 5, Wildfire. This is the first major coaster to make the list, as Wildfire is a sit-down steel coaster made by B&M. Its tallest drop is 155 feet, and it reaches speeds of 66 miles per hour. Now, the drop says 155 feet, but in reality, it feels so much taller because you are on the side of a mountain. The views right before the drop are stunning as well. Wildfire also features 5 inversions and several twists and turns along the way. Although this ride is much more intense than the previous rides on this list, I would say Wildfire is the least intense of the 4 major coasters in the park. This coaster is also very smooth, which really makes it an enjoyable ride overall. I will also say that Wildfire is the most photogenic coaster in the park. When you are out on the deck where the ride sits, you get these amazing views of the Ozark Mountains and Table Rock Lake. The best time to check out this ride is right before dark because the sunset views are insane. I would say even if you don't like coasters, you should still make it to this section of the park to get a really cool view of this ride. Number 4, Mystic River Falls. I might have a little bias for this ride as it is a project I got to follow from the beginning to end on this channel, and it was a ride that really allowed Destination Thrills to get some traction. But besides that, this is truly the full package for water rides. First off, the boat has a circled seating arrangement that allows you to face other riders. That means if you ride with a bigger group, you will get some great interaction between you and your friends. Second, Mystic River Falls drenches you. Some other rapids attractions you can escape with just a few spots of water on your clothing, but Mystic River Falls left me soaking in water every single time. Finally, you have the unique 40-foot final drop, which is amazing. It adds a thrill element to the ride, which you usually don't get on other rapids attractions. Although there is a 40-foot drop on this rapids ride, it is nothing too frightening. So personally, I think this is overall the best family ride in the park. I don't think there is a single time I have seen people on this ride not yelling and laughing. So make sure on those hot summer days, you check out Mystic River Falls. Number 3, Powder Keg. Powder Keg is the most underrated coaster in the park, or should I say the most underrated by enthusiasts, because the coaster always seems to have the longest line in the park. Although it is not as modern or as extreme as the other 2 main coasters we will talk about later, it packs a punch, especially in that first launch where you immediately get pinned into the back of your seat as you accelerate from 0 to 53 miles per hour in just under 3 seconds. The ride also has some fantastic drops, which allow for decent airtime. Although this is a shorter ride, the time out on the track is filled with excitement. This SNS coaster is a general public favorite and will likely be one of your favorites as well, so be aware of this as it might have the longest line in the park, but know that it will definitely be worth the wait. Number 2, Time Traveler. This is a first of its kind extreme spinning coaster from Mack Rides. And boy, is this coaster wild. It was tough for me to choose between Time Traveler and my number 1 pick. Time Traveler has everything. It starts you out with a 90-degree drop straight out of the station while your train cars begin to rotate. Not only is this disorienting, but it almost feels like you are being pushed off the side of the Ozark Mountains. Then you have the quick launches, and on top of that, 3 inversions. Now, you might be worried that the spinning element of the ride will be rough on your stomach, but what is awesome about Time Traveler is that the trains have magnetic technology that keeps the cars from spinning wildly out of control. Think of it more as a gentle rotation rather than the dizzying spin that you experience on like a teacups ride. It also helps that the steel track is silky smooth, really allowing you to glide through the layout. Time Traveler is a one-of-a-kind ride that you must go on if you are a thrill seeker, and it is more than deserving of the number 2 spot on this list. So what is the #1 ride at Silver Dollar City? Well, that would be Outlaw Run. Outlaw Run is a wooded coaster built by Rocky Mountain Construction, and this is nowhere close to your typical wooded coaster. This ride has a 162-foot near vertical drop at 81 degrees. Then it goes into this unusual overbanked inversion, and yes, I said inversion. And it doesn't just go upside down once, but a total of 3 times, which includes a double barrel roll finale. But honestly, the inversions almost seem like the easiest part of this ride. It is the airtime that is so strong that it makes you feel like you're about to be ejected out of your seat, and that is the scariest moment of this ride. Now, not only is Outlaw Run extreme during the day, but at night, the ride is a whole different animal as you go into the darkness of the Ozark Mountains, flying at 68 miles per hour through the terrain. It is honestly a terrifying experience for me as a coaster enthusiast, which has me getting back in line over and over again. Now keep in mind, Outlaw Run is a wooded coaster, so it definitely has its rough spots of track. But the ride is so intense that it fills my adrenaline rush needs better than any other ride in the park, and that is why Outlaw Run is my pick for the #1 ride at Silver Dollar City. So this was my list of the top 10 rides at Silver Dollar City. Again, this list was geared more towards coaster enthusiasts. If you are a family looking to visit, there are so many more attractions that will suit your needs. There's also several kids areas as well with more suitable attractions. All right, now that I've shared my list, I want to hear from you. If you've been to Silver Dollar City, what is your favorite ride in the park? And if you haven't been, which attraction are you looking forward to riding the most? Leave your answers in the comments below. Now, my next video, I will be looking at the top 10 coasters opening in 2025. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that upload. I'm Cullah Hale from Destination Thrills. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out my complete review of Fire in the Hole in the card on screen.